Welcome back, everybody, to the Golden Grizzlies pregame show brought to you by Papa Romano's. My name is Neil Rube, my broadcast partner, Tony Paul. More from our sideline reporter, Patty Cesarini, coming up in just a minute. But Tony for the Golden Grizzlies, and look, everybody knows what happened at the end of the Robert Morris game. What they want to atone for is what happened during the Robert Morris game. Here tonight starts 4 out of 5 at home. And, Tony, this is a chance for the Golden Grizzlies to make their move.
Well, this is a big game against Green Bay. You got a team, Oakland that lost to Robert Morris. Call it what it was. That was a big loss, and it dropped them down in the standings. You want to get in the Horizon League. You want to get one of those top 4 seeds so you can get the bye, you can get the home game. It dropped them into a tie for 5th right now. They need to win games moving out. And as far as how the game ended, look, Jim Leland, former Tiger manager, used to tell us all the time, you can't chew yesterday's breakfast. It's time to move on. And that's what they got to do. I mean, they got big games. They got a lot of games at home coming up. They got a game against a Green Bay team tonight that hasn't won a conference game. This is their chance to really get going. But, look, that game, feel about it how you will, and I'm sure the players and the coaching staff have their feelings on how that game ended, but it's over, and there's nothing you can do about it. They got an important 5-game stretch coming up, and it starts tonight.
Yesterday's breakfast doesn't taste good today anyway.
Never does.
Eggs are never good old. All right.
They're barely good the first time.
So with that being said, we'll take a break. When we come back, our sideline reporter Patty Cesarini sits down with Doug Gottlieb and the Golden Grizzlies acting head coach tonight, Jeff Smith. Myself and Tony Paul will get you some closing thoughts as well. This is a Golden Grizzlies pregame show brought to you by Papa Romano's.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Coach, you guys are going up against some size with McCabe and Neva Larua in there. How does your team battle that?
Well, we've added Yonatan Levy here in the new year, and obviously he's going to be called on a ton. We hope that Marcus Hall is good enough to go his normal amount of minutes, which is 35, 36, and we're playing a bigger lineup with Mac Recchi playing big minutes. So I think the issue becomes if we get into foul trouble, and they're really well schooled at having their roles and playing to their roles. And my guess is they start the game trying to throw the basketball inside to get us into foul trouble. And if we do, then all of a sudden it becomes a lot harder for us to defend. But our first line of defense is a lot better than our numbers because our lineups have changed here throughout the year.
And when we talked yesterday, you mentioned how your team likes to play those 4-minute segments called those wars. And what are you looking to stay consistent with throughout each of the 4 segments, although maybe different parts of the game things might change?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all, you have to do process. When your results aren't there, you have to do process. And so if you cut it down to 4 minutes, like, can we score one more point than them? Can we limit the quality of shots? And really that's the thing with Oakland, right, is they have a bevy of shooters and they have big guys that can score inside. And the challenge is to challenge those shooters and hopefully they shoot a low percentage, then rebound the basketball and just win that 4-minute segment. Stop runs, maintain our balance, maintain our consistency. And if we put, 4 of those together in the first half, 4 of those together in the second half, guess what happens, right? Or 5, I guess 5, my math bad. The problem is we put 4, haven't put 5. So if we can get to winning the wars and sustaining our effort and our toughness when there's going to be runs, then I think ultimately, eventually, we'll get to where we have a positive result.
All right. Well, I appreciate the time, Coach. Thanks so much.
Anytime.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature.
Drives the basket, it's in! 4-3, of course! From 3!
Coach, when we talked yesterday, you said Green Bay's a team that can be really scary. They're close to beating somebody, and it just can't be us. Although they're 2-20, what really sticks out about this team?
You know, they have an ability at times to make shots similar to what Fort Wayne does. You know, you look at their start against Robert Morris, for example. I think they had 42 points in the first 18 minutes of the game, and so they made everything to start the game. And so their teams like that are scary. They're going to come in here. I'm sure they're going to be playing loose and feeling good, and we have to do a great job of right from the start doing the best job we can to contest our threes. And the other thing they do is they'll get you up in the air, they spread you out offensively, and then they shot fake and they get into the paint, and they got guys that are crafty finishers. So they present some issues for us on their offensive side of the ball, and it's going to cause for us to have to really lock in for 40 minutes.
And offensively for you guys, it's no secret. You like to get the ball into Allen and Baru, but you mentioned too that it needs to get into those guys before we even kick it out to a three. Why is it so important for your team to play with that inside-out?
Yeah, those two guys are as good of an inside tandem as this conference or mid-major basketball has when you look at the numbers that they've produced. And we're best when we shoot threes when the ball goes to the paint first. And that doesn't mean we're not going to shoot threes, and we might shoot a lot of threes, but the important thing is that the ball goes inside, touches the paint, and we make them guard us. You know, we'll see early on what they want to try to do to defend Allen, defend Baru. We'll adjust accordingly, but the philosophy doesn't change. The ball's got to go inside. We have to attack the offensive glass. Big key for us tonight is offensive rebounding and getting to the free throw line. If we can do those two things at a dominant level, I think we'll be in good shape.
Absolutely. Appreciate the time.
You got it.
Push it to the limit, we gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, we can ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever, we gon' ride together. So together we ride, certified. And together we ride, we gon' push it to the limit. We gon' rise together, side by side to the finish. Down the ride forever.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
Thank you very much, Patty. Appreciate that. Neil Rule, Tony Paul back here with you. The Golden Grizzlies pregame show brought to you by Papa Romano's. All right, Tony, let's take a look at tonight. The Green Bay Phoenix. Tons of storylines for this basketball game. No doubt about that, but I think the biggest storyline is this. Alan McCabe did not score in that game at Robert Morris. I would imagine that he's hungry to score, and they're looking to force feed him.
Well, I mean, if you're Oakland and you're going to be successful, where you have an edge on pretty much every team in the Horizon League is your post game, your down low game with Baru and with Alan McCabe. That's where this team eats. I mean, they're not a typical Oakland 3-point shooting team. They're not a team that's going to score 100 points. This is a team that's going to play defense and score on the inside, and Alan McCabe is a big part of that. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that will be the only time this season that Alan McCabe doesn't score.
I would agree with you. I definitely agree with you. Kind of a sidebar to that, too, Tony. One positive, I think, that did come out of the Robert Morris game. You look at what Jason Woodridge was able to do, Malcolm Christie was able to do, Cooper Craggs was able to do. The supporting cast seems to be rounding into form at just about the right time.
Well, that's big, and I was going to mention that. Oakland came into this season, they lost a lot of talent. It's been well written, well documented. They lost a lot from last year's team. They were wondering, Greg Campe was wondering, who was going to be the guy that steps up in crunch time, right? Was it going to be DQ Cole? He's had his struggles this season. Isaiah Jones had the injury earlier in the season, rounding into form. But Malcolm Christie is one guy. He got off to a slow start this year. He had, he went with, he had the injury, he went with the goggles, then had the hand injury, but he made two that get lost in the shuffle, made two huge three-pointers in that game that gave Oakland the chance to come out and steal that win in crunch time. So there's a guy you wonder if he's going to be the guy that can step up. He's another guy that Greg Campe and tonight Jeff Smith can go to in crunch time.
Absolutely. Jeff Smith, the associate head coach tonight, the acting head coach, locking up with Doug Gottlieb, as we talked about. This is the second time that Jeff Smith has been a head coach for a game.
Yeah, 2011, I believe, when he was at Utah, he told me he says they lost that game. So this is the revenge game. But if Jeff Smith's being honest, he told me earlier today he wants to get the win tonight and move on, get things back to normal. Greg Campe back on Saturday.
Absolutely, he doesn't expect a lot to change, and neither do we.
I did talk to him, and he did say he was going to put in a whole new offense.
Yeah,
they were going to score
whole new
110
defense
points.
Too. Yeah. He's going to run. He's going to turn them loose.
Yeah, whole different team.
That will do it for the Golden Grizzlies pregame show, brought to you by Papa Romano's. Neil Rule, Tony Paul, Patty Cesarini. Enjoy the game, everybody.